How male and female brains differ. What you need to know. Do you want to know the real reason why men and women act differently? It all comes down to the way our brains are wired. So, make sure to watch this video all the way to the end. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. Thanks for watching. Hey there, welcome again in Brain Matters channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about how male and female brains differ. A lot of people don't know this, but the reason why men and women act differently is because our brains are wired differently. And I'm not just talking about the physical structure of our brains. I'm talking about the way that different regions of our brain function. So if you're curious to know why men and women seem so different sometimes, stick around and I'll explain everything in detail. 1. Male and female brains are wired differently. One of the most significant differences between male and female brains is the way that they are wired. The average man's brain is about 10% larger than the average woman's brain. But size isn't everything. It's how the different regions of our brain are connected that really matters. For example, the corpus callosum, which is the bridge of nerve fibers that connects the left and right hemisphere of our brain, is typically larger in women than it is in men. This difference in brain structure explains why women are better at multitasking and why they tend to use both sides of their brain more equally than men do. 2. The hypothalamus is responsible for many of the differences between male and female brains. The hypothalamus is a small region of the brain that controls a lot of our basic body functions, like hunger, thirst, and body temperature. It also plays a big role in regulating our emotional state. And it turns out that the hypothalamus is actually larger in women than it is in men. This difference explains why women are more in tune with their emotions and why they tend to be more empathetic than men. 3. Male brains are more responsive to testosterone, while female brains are more responsive to estrogen. Testosterone and estrogen are two important sex hormones that play a big role in how our brains develop. Testosterone is responsible for the development of male characteristics like a deep voice and facial hair. Estrogen, on the other hand, is responsible for the development of female characteristics like breasts and wider hips. But these hormones don't just affect our physical appearance, they also influence the way our brains develop. Studies have shown that male brains are more responsive to testosterone, while female brains are more responsive to estrogen. This difference explains why men tend to be more aggressive and competitive than women, and why women tend to be more nurturing and compassionate. 4. Male brains generally have more connections within each hemisphere, while female brains have more connections between hemispheres. Another difference between male and female brains is the way that the different hemispheres are connected. Male brains generally have more connections within each hemisphere, while female brains have more connections between hemispheres. This difference explains why women tend to be better at multitasking and why they often use both sides of their brain more equally than men do. 5. Female brains tend to be better at multitasking, while male brains are better at focusing on one task. One of the most popular theories about why women are better at multitasking than men is because of the way our brains are wired. As I mentioned before, the corpus callosum, which is the bridge of nerve fibers that connects the left and right hemisphere of our brain, is typically larger in women. This difference in brain structure allows women to more easily share information between the two sides of their brain and explains why they tend to be better at multitasking than men. As you can see, there are a lot of differences between male and female brains. But it's important to remember that these differences don't make one sex better than the other. Instead, they simply explain why we tend to think and behave in different ways. So the next time you find yourself wondering why men and women seem so different, just remember that it's all thanks to our amazing brains.